doing? This is Zack Carpenter with Family First Life Stars and Stripes. Newly logoed, soon to be VP, part of the Texas group in Southeast. I'm honored to give back. I was asked to do this, explain a little bit of my knowledge about what is my favorite product, which is the HMS Return of Premium product with the one and only Americo. When Sasha asked me to do this, I always thought it was funny because she was probably sitting next to someone who's the absolute best in the world, in the country, at sales, at helping people, at putting people in the best product. But he didn't do that because that's Sean for you. He's always given and gives opportunities for others to train and share their successes. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I always heard the quote. People always say the quote about if they could be half the man their dad was or their spouse, that you'd be okay with it. Well, Sean, if I could be 1/10 of the man you are, I would be more than okay with it. Thank you for everything. That leads me to what I'm doing this for, is the HMS ROP product. That is the Home Mortgage Series Return of Premium with Americo. So out of all the sales that I have, I've been doing this for about 2.5 years. This is probably 70% of my sales. I've run a lot of mortgage.
Interrupt voice prompt
and
speak a command immediately.
I'm sorry about that. One second.
Switch.
So going through that, I'm only gonna touch base on the Americo product. There's a lot of things that go into it, but we want to learn just about the product. I will touch base on the phone script, how important to actually dial and get to your appointments, book enough appointments to be able to have success with this, with any products. But again, we're focusing on the Americo products, where getting on the phone, I believe it's about 75% the phone. Whether it comes to scheduling, you want to make sure you have enough time, but not too much time. When you're booking the appointments, you're already building credibility. You need to sound enthusiastic, excited about what you do. And then when you go meet with them into the home, you just carry that over. You use the same tones, you use the same mannerisms, everything like that you did on the phone, because they've already trusted you on the phone. And that's the hardest part, is to get through to these people on the phone, because there's a lot of telemarketers out there. There's scams and everything, where the hardest part about this business is getting on the phone and actually booking the appointments so we can make the sales and help these families. But just going on the phone, after you book all the appointments and you start running for your day, you book 2 days out. And so getting to the mortgage protection side of this, these are all mortgage leads that we're going to talk about. Of course, you want to run a plethora of leads. There's never any too many leads or anything like that where you're limiting yourself to just mortgage. The appointments are mainly from about 5 to about 9 p.m. I always try to save spots for that, for the mortgage. But let's just say, I'm getting to my first house. I have notes on the lead from the phone call, just the little things. If they said on the phone, I have my kids, I got to pick up my kids, just make a little note. Oh, how many kids do you have? Just to build a little bit of rapport when you get in the home. I'm not going to talk too much about building rapport. I believe it should be about 5-10 minutes max, not even. You just ask the basic questions. Your goal in the appointment is to try to get as many yeses as possible. So, that means ask questions that you already know the answer to. So just for the market for HMS Return of Premium is 20 to 60 years old here in Texas. It could be 55 in a couple other states, but regardless, that's a pretty big market. As you can see, that's about 35 to 40 years of clientele that have an opportunity to get this. Okay, so going through it, after you build rapport, you're sitting with John and Mary, and your first goal is to figure out why you're there. Really ask the questions of, I mean, I've said it straight up before. I said, hey, why am I here? John, Mary, why am I here? Because you filled this form out. I bring the lead in. I have for preparation purposes, I have my financial inventory sheets. I have 2 of them, the one with all the carriers and the Linda Lampasso that she made, and then also the Americo 10-point sheet. That is pretty much the gist of my preparation, and of course the lead with my notes on it from the phone call. So when I'm sitting when I walk into the house and I'm meeting with John and Mary, I immediately, I have my briefcase on my left arm so I can get a nice firm handshake in the beginning, and then I go find a table. Yes, I've had people that are sitting on the couch. I've had people sitting on the porch. I ask them to get up. I say, you can always say with all due respect, hey, can I ask you something? All of those things are segues into, you can say whatever you want. But if someone's not budging and not sitting at the table, I will stand there awkwardly. No, I have to spread out a couple things. I just, I need a table. Is this okay? Oh, it's all messy. It's okay. Trust me. I do this all day, John and Mary. I've been in much worse homes. It's no problem. It's just we want to get this done quick and efficiently. So sitting down, remember, our first goal is to figure out why you're there. And one of the reasons why you're there is maybe John needs coverage. Maybe Mary needs coverage. Maybe they both need coverage. So that leads me to asking right away. Okay, so John, I see you're 52 and Mary, you're 45. Let me ask you the first question. My job is pretty simple. As you can see, all these carriers here, I represent them all. You see Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, AIG, all of the main carriers, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. Does that make sense, John Mary? Yeah, they probably don't know. And then you continue and you say, my job is to find you the best rate. See what if you can get insurance, see what you do qualify for, explain the options to you, and just try to fit whatever's right for you, whatever makes sense, okay? I'm not here to make a sale. I'm strictly here because you asked me to come over to help you out with some insurance. And I have the luxury, I'm fortunate enough to be able to help you with anything, no matter what. When we'll get there, no matter what your health is, I already know your age, but for other clients, whatever age they are, I have the ability to help them out with at least something, and more than just the ability to help them out with the best product that they can get. Best product meaning the best rate, which is what I'm sure you're concerned about, and also any benefits that make sense for you. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions on this little guide that they gave me to kind of guide me through this, just to get to know you a little better so I can steer you in the right direction. Sound good? Good. Okay. Well, John, okay, you're 52, Mary, you're 45. You're working, you said, right? John, what do you do for a living? Okay, you're in construction. Awesome. Mary, you're a nurse. Great. So, John, the first question I'll ask you is pretty much, John, how much do you bring in monthly? The picture I'm trying to paint here, John, is what is Mary going to be without if you were to die tomorrow or something were to happen where there's no more income? What does that look like monthly? Okay. Okay, 4,200. Great. Awesome. That's a good income. Mary? Okay, 2,600. Again, awesome. So about 6,800 total. I can kind of see, just judging based on this, we really want to focus on John, but the question I have to ask you, are we looking for both of you? Get you both covered today? Yes, no? Okay, whatever it may be, then I focus on it. If it's just, if they're on the fence and you really think that it might be a budget issue, you just focus on one of them, okay? And then I go down to the other part, which is the mortgage balance. I have that right in front of me on the lead, and that is, let's say it's $100,000. Okay, so I see it's $100,000. What is it, a 30-year note, like usual? Yeah, 30 years. Okay, great. And the mortgage payment, if you've had any, is there any? What is the amount that you pay monthly with taxes and everything? What is, what is that monthly focus? Okay, $723. Great. And then the value of the home, what was it appraised at? Okay, got it. All right, so that makes it about $32,000 in equity. The reason I asked that, John, is because we're not only protecting the house that you live in, we're also protecting this equity. Some people don't even realize that if you were to go, you lose more than just your house. If your wife can't pay for it, you lose all that equity, all those hours you put in to work, and to try to pay this house off is gone if you don't have the proper protection or some plan in place to put in to protect Mary. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, great. The last question: are you both on the mortgage? Yep. Okay. No. Okay. Oh, you're not, huh? All right. Well, now I can definitely see, why I'm here and why you're concerned, because if something happens to you, John, it's gonna be a steeper hill for Mary to climb with her not being on the mortgage. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay. All right. Just getting a bunch of head shakes. And then I go down. Okay, so now the important part is you both look extremely healthy, but I have to ask, are you on any medications? Any cancer, heart attack, stroke, God forbid? And I'm knocking on wood if they're saying no, shaking their head no. Okay, great. This will make my job easy, extremely easy. You're not going to put me to work, because that's awesome that you're healthy. Thank God you're healthy today. And then I'll make a big cross over the medical section. I go, again, this is going to be easy. And I go, Mary, how about you? Are you as lucky as John? Or, oh, no, I'm on blood pressure medicine. Okay, all right, make sure you write everything down. Blood pressure. Then I go, what are you on? Lisinopril, Losartan? Just to sound a little like I know what I'm talking about. And 80% of the time with blood pressure, it's one of the two. Yeah. How'd you know? Oh, I run a lot of these. John, I run about 8 of these every 4 days. So I've learned a thing or two. Okay, and they have me ask you if you have any current life insurance. I'm assuming that you don't, because that's why I'm here. And please don't say what I hope you say, that you do have work, because I see you shaking you're nodding your head. What is that insurance that you have? Does it start with a W? Yeah, work. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not yours, John. Let's be very clear that that you don't own that policy. Your company, we all have work policies, right? There's a reason they don't ask you any questions on there. Okay. Work policies can end at any time. You could break your leg, not go to work, you lose your policy. That's what we want to avoid. We need something that you own, John, okay? It's something that if you didn't have this job, you'd still have this policy, okay? That's our goal. And Mary, anything? Yeah, work policy as well. Okay, so are we on the same page that that's not a real policy? It's not a mortgage protection, it's not a life insurance? Yes? Okay, great. So moving forward. Based on your health history, I always find it hypocritical if I don't show you exactly what I have, because that out of all these different carriers, I can almost write myself any single thing, any single policy in the entire world. So why wouldn't I get myself and my family the best one, right? Does that make sense? So I have Americo. I'm going to kind of show you exactly. I have this, let you look it over, just go over it real quick. You get to choose your beneficiary, and I pull out the 10-point sheet and I put it in front of them, and I say, hey, you get to choose your beneficiary, which we already discussed. That's going to be one another. It's portable, so if you ever were to move, it stays with you. Again, this is your policy. It's not directly correlated to this mortgage. It stays with you. You'll never have to get another one if if you were to move. You'll never have to get another one. The death benefit remains level and the rates remain level. What that means is what you pay tomorrow is what you're going to be paying at the end of this 30 years or 20 years, whatever it may be. And I'll get there later why I suggest a 20-year. Okay, John? There's an accidental included. There's 25% accidental. We won't touch too much on that because those never pay out. Those aren't real insurance either. Those are like work insurances, right, John? Yep. Okay, and then here's half the reason that I chose this one is because the living benefits that they added just over a year ago, that they will pay you out, John, if you have a chronic, critical, or terminal illness. What does that mean? It's a heart attack, cancer, stroke. It's going to pay out up to 100%. Okay, I say up to because you're looking at me funny. Up to, it's one of the only carriers that will pay up to 100%. Well, how do they? John will say, how do they judge that? I go, John, have you ever been in a little fender bender in your car? Well, that's kind of how it is. Your doctor is your adjuster. You got to go get the claims adjuster and figure out how much the damage is worth. That's your doctor. He's going to make notes. He's going to diagnose it. It's going to be chronic, critical, terminal, and that's going to determine on how much they pay you. Okay, whether you want to take it or continue the policy, that's up to you. That's why this policy is why I chose it, is because it gives you options. Gets you lots of options. And then the fun part, John, why the other 50% of why I have this is it's a savings account. It's truly a glorified savings account. What I mean by that is if you don't die, which that's what we're hoping, they're going to pay you all your money back. So instead of so that leads me to the point of, or the question I have for you. Do you have a savings account already? Are you putting money away every month? Is it? And they'll say yes, and they always do say yes. And I ask them, okay, so how much would you say? Oh, it varies. I got this. Well, how much minimum? Oh, 200. Okay, awesome. And I'm going to show you why. The reason why I asked that is because, again, my job is to fit something that's comfortable for you, whether it's budget, make sure we get enough coverage, and then, of course, budget. I don't want this to sting. By all means, I do not want to add any other bills. I do not want this to sting. Okay, so quotes. I'll let you look this over, John and Mary, and if you have any questions, please chime in. Just give me a couple minutes to pull up these quotes and see what we come up with, and then I'll just grab the lead and I'll just write it at the back. I'll just put John, and I'll put two options. I'll put the full amount, and then I'll do 75%, depending on their financial situation. So this is what you have to get real good at, is figuring out if someone's only making $1,000 a month, you don't want to show them something for $420 a month. You have to assume. So they make $6,800 total. Okay, so it's a low mortgage, so I'll do the full amount, and I'll do 75, and I just make it very clear to them that, hey, John, I could plug in any number. These are just round numbers, and it makes it a little easier. Okay, just know I could plug in any number. We want to get as much as possible, but we always, it's nice to have it covered for when you die, but we also want to live comfortably while we're alive. And so I'll write the quotes down, and I'll put a 20 or 25 and then a 30, never all three, and then just two quotes, so like 100% and 75% of the loan amount. And then I'll show them, I go, here's the reason why I think it's smart of you, because do you guys plan on paying off the mortgage soon? Oh yeah, you plan it? Okay, we all plan it. I plan on being a professional baseball player my whole life. That changed. Now I'm helping you guys out with some insurance, okay? So we all plan, but we never really stick to it, right? And so this is a good way to, make sure you have the protection, and then also have a plan of paying off your mortgage early. Okay, so if we did the 20 or 25 year, it's gonna be a little more, which, and I'll explain why in a second here. But if we did a 20 year, you don't die, because that's what we're hoping for. You get all of your money back. You take that check, and then you pay off the house. No matter what is left, you're gonna be able to pay off the house 10 years early. There's calculators and mortgage calculators on how much they would actually save by doing that, but I just show them easy math, like simple, and I just do 10 times 12 times the mortgage amount. I go, you'd be saving almost this much. So you see how much sense this makes, this 20 year. But of course, some people care about the longer of the coverage, so that's why they do have that 30 year. So I'll have these down. Remember, I could plug in any number, but John, after looking at it, which one do you think makes sense? And then I'll drop my pen and put it on there and just stay silent. They're going to look at each other, and think, and first person that speaks loses. More times or not, you'll come to find out that you're going to be getting them to point at a value, at a number. And then you just say, okay, well, hey, John, I just need your driver's license, and then they got to verify your account. Make sure you actually do have a bank account, just some piece of information. But real quick, it's crucial to ask for that in the beginning, where they already know pretty much every single thing throughout the entire presentation. I was already preparing to avoid the rebuttals, such as, oh, we need to think about it, such as it's in the budget. I told them 100 times that I could plug in any number. It's just about getting approved. The other thing, like, we need to think about it. I mean, you've already thought about it. I wouldn't be here if you guys didn't think about it. If you thought about it for a day, 4 days, 10 days, 2 years, it all doesn't matter. Nobody wants to think about this or even discuss this. I have to do it all day, John, but I always tell everybody, let's talk about it for 20 minutes so we don't have to talk about it for 20 years. It's important. We obviously know we need it. The return of premium, there's no possible way that the family's not going to get a benefit from it. There isn't, unless they let it lapse, which you let them know. Like, insurance policies, nobody likes insurance policy. Everyone has car insurance, and if they don't crash their car and they switch insurances or they get a new car, they don't get anything back. And I talk about that, and I go, do you understand that you're getting the protection in your house and also building a savings and creating a plan to pay it off early? It just makes so much sense, and it's just so easy because it just does make so much sense. I have it. I think it's very important to actually have anything that you're selling. Like I said in the beginning of the presentation, that I think it's pretty hypocritical if you advise someone something other than what you have yourself or you've helped your family out with. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and the clients will notice that. But I'm sure I forgot a couple things, but that's the gist of it. It's like I said, you have to believe in the product to be able to sell it consistently. I wrote down a couple notes here. I like to use the word painting the picture. The 20 to 60-year-old, 60 is a great target market. You want to get as many yeses as possible. I capitalized uncomfortable because you have to get uncomfortable. You have to say things you may have never said before to anybody, but at the end of the day, you're helping them, and they may be uncomfortable during the application, but like, oh, I don't know if we could do this, I don't know. But more often times than not, they're gonna thank you and say, oh, I feel so much better. And I'm gonna say, don't you, John? So now I'm on my way. And then I leave my card, digital business card. I tell them, if you need anything, please call me. Hopefully it's approved. If not, then I go to a different carrier. But we're only talking about Americo right now. And that's it. Basically, I really hope this helps anybody out. Please reach out to me if anybody needs anything. I love Americo. I love return of premium. It is my number one goal in every single home is to write them HMS 125 return of premium. And I make audibles if for whatever reason they don't. But that is 1000% my goal in every single home. All right, thanks guys.